in production, controlling costs, and thereby coming out with the most quality product is extremely important. That's why production management will look at two budgeting techniques: the static budgeting technique and the flexible budgeting technique. Let's first look at the static. Static is just what it is, in place. When a production team uses the static budgeting technique, they're going to look at forecasting or projecting one level of production results for the budget period and the cost associated. That's the static budgeting technique. And of course, we know production is a dynamic process involving many different stages and many different steps. And that's why many production management teams usually turn to the flexible budgets technique. Now, the flexible budgets technique, you project revenue and cost associated for several levels at one time, and of course at each level. Now, why is the flexible budget technique more advantageous? This is why. One, using the flexible budget technique, the production management team will be able to weigh what's actually budgeted versus the actual cost that are happening during the production process using the flexible budget technique. More so, when you use the flexible budget technique, the production team can actually change plans during the production process. Again, the production process is very dynamic, and the flexible budget technique allows the management team to monitor this process as it's unfolding and change plans as needed. Whereas with the static situation, the static budget, you're looking at one level and the cost and the budget at that particular level. In this instance here, you're looking at several levels. And when you see the actual costs changing or varying in one production level, you can go ahead and make changes in the following production level. Another point, using the flexible budget technique, being able to make changes in a very dynamic environment, being able to look at what's being actually planned or budgeted versus the actual variance between the two. What can happen here is that the production management team has more control over the cost. So production management teams, controlling costs is extremely important. They'll look to two budgeting techniques to provide them with cost control: static and flexible. Flexible, giving more control of costs, and therefore the most advantageous budget technique that production teams will use.